I am the chosen one.
An Irish vampire with a drug problem, an ex-girlfriend who can kick anyone's ass, and a criminal turned preacher with the voice of God.
Tell her the truth. Open your heart.
What's not to love about Preacher? Whether you're a fan of the late 90s graphic novels or not, this show will blow your mind. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Jesse Custer's powers to force you to subscribe to this channel, but I'm gonna kindly ask you to do so because we're gonna break down every single episode of Preacher this season. We're also talking about Twin Peaks every week, as well as Game of Thrones leading up to that season 7 premiere. Hey guys, as always, you can find me on Twitter at RyanEricP, and before we get started, I want to set the scene for those that are new to Preacher. Of course, it's based on a comic book, a very adult comic book, and it gets extremely crazy. Warning, there will be spoilers ahead. Preacher, of course, is filled with an incredible amount of violence, a whole lot of gore, blasphemy, sex, and a wicked sense of humor.
Preacher shot my dick off. See? It's an incredible shot. Kinda took it clean off.
It's Kill Bill mixed with True Grit, the one with John Wayne, of course, mixed with This Is the End. Sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, here are the 6 reasons why we're watching season 2 of Preacher. Number 1, it's exactly where we left off at the end of last season. Team Preacher is going on a road trip.
Well, that sounds like a fun place to start.
Here's the basic premise. After FaceTiming with a god imposter, Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy set out on a mission to find the real god because he's MIA. It's a cross-country, sacred scavenger hunt while being chased by a ton of cops, local gangsters, and a Terminator-like cowboy sent from hell. More on him later. What's more fun than a road trip, am I right?
Sing, birds, sing.
Number 2, season 2 of Preacher will no longer confine us to Texas. Thank God, right? Just kidding, I love Texas. In the comics, Jesse and friends traveled all across the US, including Texas, Arizona, New York City, and even international stops in Ireland and France. With a bigger budget, season 2 will expand the TV universe to at least New Orleans, which is a great thing. If you ever woke up in a ditch on Bourbon Street, you know exactly what I mean. Right, buddy?
Dude, I told you that in confidence.
I'm sorry. So the search to find God leads them to the home of the great 504 boys.
We the 504 boys. Huh? We the 504 boys. What?
Judging by this sign that we saw in the trailer, we'll get to see Jesse's trippy journey inside his own mind thanks to the help from a voodoo priest. We will also get a chance to meet another vampire who is the polar opposite of Cassidy, as well as a whole bunch of other characters from the comic books. Number 3, the Saint of Killers. We learned a little bit about this cowboy's backstory during a handful of flashback sequences last season, but season 2 will feature much more of the Saint of Killers. Hell yes. Last season, DeBlanc and Fior failed to capture Genesis from Jesse's body. They then traveled to Hell where the Saint of Killers was reliving the death of his family and subsequent slaughtering over and over and over again. That's until the 2 angels offered him a new gig, to hunt down Jesse. So while Jesse, Cassidy, and Tulip aren't busy searching for God, they better be watching their backs for this cowboy.
Preacher.
In the comics, Jesse and the Saint of Killers cross paths a whole bunch of times, and without spoiling anything, expect this to be a ton of fun. Also, pro tip, you don't want to get shot by one of this dude's bullets because there's no coming back, even for angels. Number 4, the man in the white suit. Speaking of bad guys, besides clashing with DeBlanc, Fior, and Donnie and Odin, Jesse really didn't have to face off against any big bads last season. Season 2 will be different thanks to the reintroduction of a major villain, a man named Herr Starr. If you haven't read the comics and that name is new to you, he's the creepy bald dude in the white suit enjoying Houston's 4th annual Snuff Film Festival last season. I won't get too spoilery, but in the comics, Starr was a member of the Grail, a secret organization dedicated to keeping the bloodline of Jesus Christ intact. Now, they're tweaking this for the TV show in order to keep it a little more grounded in reality. Instead of some vast secret organization, it seems that Starr will head Grail Industries and look to use Jesse and his newfound powers to further his own goals. Another character that we'll meet is Sarah Featherstone, who is Starr's right hand in the Grail. In the TV show, she's described as smart, calculating, and not afraid to use any means necessary to complete her mission. So, bottom line, if you weren't happy with last season's antagonists, be assured that Jesse and company will have their hands full this time around. Number 5, the return of Arseface. That's right, Eugene Root was pretty much the only character that survived that explosive ending last season, and that's because he wasn't in Anvil, Texas, he was in Hell. Thanks to Jesse's accidental command, he was banished to the underworld and soon reappeared as the preacher's imaginary friend.
You're not really here, are you, Eugene?
You mad, preacher?
Eugene's role in the TV show might remind comic book fans of how they used John Wayne in the books, who was kind of like Jesse's conscience. Last season, Jesse was unable to bring Eugene back from hell, but he's certainly going to exhaust all options in season 2 to find out who can. Or maybe he'll have to travel to hell himself in order to get Eugene back. In the trailer, we see a shot of Arseface waking up in a prison cell. Perhaps this is his personal hell. Regardless if he returns to the real world or if he's just in Jesse's imagination, we'll definitely get to see Arseface this season. Number 6, the best news about season 2, it's 3 episodes longer.
You are all saved.
Last season's 10 episodes was fun, but it didn't even scratch the surface of the Preacher comic books. It was more of a prequel, really, and pretty much just hit the reset button at the end after it killed off almost every character. This season promises to dive headfirst into the actual comic book storyline, all while giving us a full 13 episodes of non-stop action. Even if you read every page of the comics, the TV show is sure to surprise. Guys, hit subscribe right over here because we're gonna break down every single episode of Preacher this season. And also, how about some comic book deep dives? If you want to know more about these characters, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.